Good morning, guys. So Reza here from Perth Canine Craft, also trading as Ubuntu support. And in this video series, I am just sharing with you what I learned about the PAT when I went over to Brisbane to get assessed myself for being an assessor, and hopefully helping you guys just increase your chances of passing the public access test by preparing for it. It's always good to be proactive and educated. So today we're going to talk about general obedience. The thing is, general obedience can be a bit vague, but generally I tell people, well, the whole idea is to teach you black and white so that you can learn how to navigate the gray areas. So here's the thing: there's five things specifically that I noticed they look for. So the first thing is your dog must comply within 2 seconds when you give commands, and the commands can be tactile, visual, vocal, whatever. One thing that I would look for is the relationship between the team is when the dog doesn't do it, what does the handler do? Do they help the dog? Do they correct the dog? And does the dog respond to that? Now, neither of those are wrong or right for me. You know, just got to see what the dog does. The second thing is when you are putting your dog in an obedience command, that dog must stay in that position until given a different command or released. And again, if the dog doesn't do it, what does the handler do? Do they help the dog or do they correct the dog? Who knows, right? The third thing is more a handler skill, which is the handler must be aware of their environment and pick the correct obedience positions or commands to ensure that the team is not a nuisance or a hazard to the public. Okay. And by the way, I would suggest if your assessor puts you in such a position, wink, wink, nudge, nudge, if you can advocate for yourself and your dog and say, I understand you want to test something like this, but this might not be the right place because I feel like we're going to be a hazard. I would highly suggest that, well, especially myself, an assessor would be very impressed with that. The fourth thing is a recall will be tested. And in the guide hearing and assistance dog assessment, they actually want you to do a 2 meter recall. So you put your dog in a sit or a drop. Dog must stay in that position. You move to the end of the leash, which hopefully is about 2 meters, and then you call your dog on that leash. I personally and professionally love to train hard and fight easy, so I always train the dogs to do off leash recalls and things. But in an assessment, again, got to make sure that we're not creating the team to be a nuisance or a hazard. And what you're looking for is, I will usually cue the handler to recall the dog. So the handler never knows, is it going to be a 30-second stay? Is it going to be 2 minutes, 5 minutes? And then I want to see, is there a clear position for that dog to go? Does the dog exactly know what the recall is? And again, if the dog struggles, what does the handler do? Do they correct the dog with a leash correction or something? Or do they help the dog with guidance or luring? Who knows? Probably luring will be, food luring won't be in the test because your dog should be past that. But I always teach my dogs to comply with the leash. So luring with your leash, you know. The last thing is, one thing they're looking for is when you're navigating the public, your dog must be within range of the leash. So they shouldn't be pulling on the leash, so forwards, backwards, unless your dog is trained for it. And I would highly recommend that you command that. Maybe the dog creates space. Who knows? Your dog should not be falling behind you. They shouldn't be excessively sniffing or drilling. They shouldn't become overexcited or tries to solicit attention or food. Like, oh, there's a child who's 2 years old and I can reach the donut. So essentially, when I do teach my clients and their dogs loose leash walking, it's really, don't pull on the leash unless you're guiding me. Don't trip me. That's always a good idea. And don't trip the public. and just be chill and, don't get overexcited, over anxious, which if you did your temperament stuff, your dog shouldn't do anyway. Now, I look forward to sharing some more videos with you, next Tuesday. Like, share, and comment if you found this helpful, especially with, with people who don't know anything about assistance dogs. And here's a challenge for you. The more likes, shares, and comments I get, the more information I'll provide. Oh, and P.S. questions are welcome too, and I'll try my best to make some videos to answer them. So, see you next Tuesday.